unit of item in store branch versus unit of business and address, unit of city and store number versus address of building and state, related to the universe and nationalism and the world and corporation, unit of business versus phone call, unit of business versus order, unit of business versus transaction, unit of business versus use of device versus element of technology of trade between those units and access to that technology through identity separated from a unit of item from a specific branch of a store in the corporate area of the city, different than the government area, different than the political area, different than the education area, different than the garbage truck area, different than the restaurant area, different than the clothing area, different than the property area, different than the textbook area, different than the banking and store, different than the clothing and store, different than the street signs and car wash, different than the parks and the restaurant McDonald, different than the culture of people versus the stoplight, and different than the top grocery and bakery, different than the dinosaurs and cheese and animals that only come from the CTA and the Pace Bus, related to the knowledge of the Democratic and Republican reality of biblical Old Testament, a teenage New Testament Republican post 2020 that is separated from a connection to a room, three pals, one right there, one right there, clean. This light dropped information, and then this Nokia phone was plugged here before. Watch the scary movie list related to a connection of lists on the device, a connection of a list using a program without a device, and a connection of similar movies, similar videos at a time that is not arranged in a movement or a distance, a type of behavior that's not related to that device, and a type of language not related to the camera, and a type of connection between that without the same frame that would be content related to if someone eats a piece of chocolate,